Hello YouTubers, my name is Urosh and this is Break&Make. In this series of videos I will show you how I transform this bandsaw into this beauty over here. The transformation includes installing 4 arms for 4-wheel drive, wooden protective covers, sliding table with side support, wooden attachment for vacuum device, new housing for guide bearings instead of wooden blocks, and at the end I will show you how I make a device for cutting circles with or without a hole in the center of the circle. So if you like my content, don't forget to subscribe down below, and now let's go. I decided to start the renovation with installing the wheels, so I turned the bandsaw on the side. I made wheels holders from iron. Bottom support is 40 by 100 millimeters iron angle 5 millimeters thick. On the bottom support I welded a 3 millimeter thick square tube on the both ends to get the right height for the wheels. And for the end I install arms for wheels with enough clearance from the bandsaw so the wheels can spin freely around its axis. Welds were sanded with the flat disc on the angle grinder. I used wired brush to remove impurity before painting. I also removed the rust from the bottom and the sides for the final assembly. On the bottom, the square tubes 80 by 80 millimeters were welded to provide better bandsaw weight distribution on the wheels holders. In the square tubes 4 holes were drilled for attaching wheels holders with bolts. I painted all the parts with 2 layers of base coating and 2 layers of final coating. Finally the wheels were installed, which means I can move bandsaw wherever I want. For making a new guide bearing housing, I have to remove the cutting plate. Square tube 80 by 40 3 mm thick were used for side bearings. First the holes were drilled for the nice round edge, and then I cut out the slots for bolts and the blade. I had to remove some material from the tube to get enough clearance for aligning bearings to the blade later on. On the back side of the housing I welded two square rods which will hold the nut while the bolt will be tightened from the front of the housing. On the bottom, square tube 30 by 30 mm were welded for the back side guide bearing. Housing were spot welded on the bottom side of the cutting table just to be sure that everything is in the right place for blade. I used M8 bolts inserted through bearings. Bearings are secured in place with a nut on both sides. The housing perfectly fit in place, so I made final welds. The same design was used for making the upper side guide bearing housing. The difference is just in the dimensions of the square tube. For the upper side guide bearings housing I used 50 by 50 mm square tube. Upper side guide bearing housing is attached on the eccentric rod. Because of that, the major adjustments of the bearings are made with tightening bolts and minor adjustment is made with turning the eccentric rod. It's time to disassemble the bandsaw. Well, I didn't know that the wheels can be dismantled with the shafts, so I have an opportunity to check the bearing as well. Wooden protection for the blade was in very bad shape. I decided to make the new one. There was quite a few spots without original paint because of the rust. I sanded all the parts with angle grinder, first with the flat disc and then with the wired brush. Before applying paint, I use alcohol to clean the surface. Like at the bottom of the bandsaw, I applied 2 layers of base gray coating and 2 layers of final black coating. I gave the paint 24 hours to cure and then I picked together all the parts and assembled the bandsaw. I don't know if it's necessary, but I think that there's nothing wrong with applying some hydraulic oil to protect the shaft from rusting. The blade was installed to level the cutting plate. Leveling was made with 4 bolts. The blade has to be set 90 degrees in all directions to the cutting plate. The cutting table will be leveled with 4 bolts under the table. Unfortunately, this is the end of part 1. Thank you for watching. I hope you get some ideas for your project as well. In part 2, the link will be over here. I will show you how I made all these wooden protective covers, adapter for vacuum device, sliding table with side supports, and a device for cutting circles. I will also perform some tests. I will thinner a wooden board and cut some circles with that device. If you like my content, my videos, don't forget to subscribe down below. It will mean a lot to me. Till the next time, enjoy and see you soon. Bye.